then I want you to change the industry and make it efficient and amazing.
Even with
And
that shirt
accessible
on.
to all these people. It's on you now.
Yeah.
Do it.
Well, no, actually, that's a good thing, because that's typically, we get that on a regular, I get it on a regular basis, that people think, hey, you know, such a great book, Hollywood should be calling, and you know, you should be millionaires within a couple of years, and that's really not what it's, we get it for the love, we love to create, and that's really what it is, and if you're getting into trying to make big money or something like that, it's very tough for independents to do that. Remember, any books you put out, you're going to be competed against Spider-Man, the Hulk, the Avengers, and all the big people that everybody knows. Again, what is it that makes it special about your book that they should buy it when I got Batman sitting over here too? So that's also one that you really need to look at.
Yep.
Yeah,
And that's it. Go ahead.
Orlando is absolutely right. It is, you gotta be in it for the long haul. You gotta, if it's in you, if you really love telling stories, you're just gonna do it.
I'm just in it for the money.
Yeah.
The money and the women, yes.
Yes.
Well,
And
you know, I thought about this a lot when, you know, what you guys say would be, you know, there's a lot of passion projects, right, that I wouldn't want any kind of studio to touch, like even if they were to offer a lot of money, I just would be too worried that it screwed it up or something. But what do you think about the idea of having your passion projects, and if you have time, kind of just coming up with some other stuff that you're willing to just sell off?
Yep.
And just so you know, it's like you have stuff that you're not super sentimentally attached to, that you just create for the purpose of selling to a studio or something, just because you don't care what they do with it.
I understand that.
Yeah, so you kind of keep
that is
you
the-
compartmentalize that.
That is a thing that I've seen, like, my day job is for a toy company, and I've worked with toy designers that are like that. They give just enough for the company, but their stuff they keep inside. And some of them have branched out and do independent sales at shows like this, and they do their own concepts, and they follow through with it. Yeah, your passion project is your legacy, so that is something, yeah, you want to keep it close and control it, and why release it to...
But at the same time, the author, Dashiell Hammond, created Philip Marlowe, one of the great, he wrote Red Harvest that, you know, everybody's ripped off. And he was once asked, well, what do you think what they've done with your, you know, your stories and made them into movies, and are they as good, and this and that? And he pointed up to the wall where all of his books were and said, no, they're still there. It's not going to change the actual work. You know, you always go back to that.
Yeah. No, not only that, but you know, your project, if you're really creative, you're gonna put your stuff out there, and you know what? You're gonna come up with more ideas.
Right.
So, and it's like my first book was my pride and joy, it was my baby, and I'm so proud of it. And now when I look at it 30 years later, I'm embarrassed because it's not great. It is horrendous.
Never be embarrassed.
Never be embarrassed about your
No, no,
proud where you came from.
I'm still proud of my baby. Of course, I love all my babies, but you know, every single time it gets better. Every single time, and when you're rolling, more ideas come. So you're making space in your brain if you get it out there. But yeah, definitely you want to get your stuff done.
We have a
Just
question.
go forward. Yeah.
We had a question.
Is starting with fan comics good to build your fan base, or should you just go with originals?
What's a fan comic exactly?
So like you would take like an already existing fandom, like a video game or a show, and then you would make like your own fan comic about it.
Right. Okay. That's not something I've ever done, but I know that when I was young, I emulated my heroes, and that was an important learning path for me to get my skills aligned. And then I branched off into my own style, which I'm pretty adamant that most people want to see something fresh and new. So what you're doing is kind of practice, but it's not uncommon, right? Fan-based concepts to create a following. So yeah, again, social marketing and building an audience. You got people that are going to be loyal to you, so that when you do your own thing, you've got them. and then you start growing from there. But copying somebody else's work and expecting to make money off that's shady area, right?
Oh, this, yes. Hold on, but even to piggyback on that, I heard what you said, Dan, about talking about she needs to grow. I think there's a clue though. How is she gonna know if she's actually grown?
Oh, you know when it becomes your own, yeah, because it doesn't, especially when somebody says, if they look at your stuff and go, oh, that looks like so-and-so, but if they don't say that, then you know you've elevated to the next level. And, I know that I personally, I like and buy things that I've never seen before. This is fresh, this is why I'm buying it. Because I'm a visual guy, I'm an artist, so that's what attracts me. I don't know about other things. That's what makes me.
And
That's earning
it's
questions.
always good to, emulate somebody that you really love.
Well, when you start off, you're gonna.
Because we were like Bernie Wrightson.
Bernie Wrightson,
Like,
to,
completely. And
all
Frank
those guys.
Kelly Frias.
Yeah, Frank Kelly Frias actually,
You know who he is.
he
He said,
sent us
a
we
letter.
tried, you guys are too young to remember, there was this thing called the L. Ron Hubbard artist contest. And we did this beautiful werewolf thing and everything.
Oh, like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
And
and Frias was doing
the
the
judging.
panel.
We actually got
And we got it actual, we framed it and everything where
Yeah. Yeah. Because
he sent back to
well,
us a
basically,
full
it's a
letter.
loser plaque.
Yeah, it was like, if you're not
Everybody's
first
a
place,
winner.
if you're not first place, you're last place. So, yeah, we lost, we're like, screw him, but we didn't rip it up or anything, because he wrote us an actual letter, handwritten letter saying, I love Bernie Wrightson too, but, maybe you guys should try and find your own voice.
So what you have to do is find your own voice in art and in writing.
The range of work that these guys have done, you may not have seen all their work, but they've, like you said,
Come by the
Bernie
booth,
Wrightson
you'll see
had
it.
them, is very exquisitely detailed artwork, and I've seen them pull it off. And now their artwork looks like this, and it's theirs, it's their style. This is the definitive Phil Bach brother style. And I've seen other people trying to emulate this style now that they do it, but these guys have mastered it. And that's what it takes. It's
Yeah,
just
you have
time,
to
it's
sometimes
time and experimentation.
pull down, because when you have like a 300-page book, you don't want to take like 3 years to do it.
And also when, just talking drawing wise, we'll get you. Talking drawing wise, for us, Alex Phillip said once that he spent the first part of his career trying to figure out everything to put in, and the second part of his career trying to figure out what to take out. So we're kind of on that side where it's like, yeah, we can pare it down. We just want you to. We always call it a page turner. And I think we
want
all
people to just
get into it.
flip.
We've had people go, do you mind if I just got to keep going. I want to look at the art, but I just want to see. And we're like, go, just go.
Because like pretty much 150 pages of this book is without any dialogue. It's just all visual.
That's great. You can tell a story that way. I mean, where you don't need dialogue, and the reader actually understands exactly what's going on. And that's just the way you intended it to do.
Exactly.
Okay.
Do you have any advice on working with editors, or how to find a good editor, both on like a small personal scale and on a more professional scale?
Editors are evil. They are just hell. Trust me. They will destroy you. They'll crush your soul.
And he's not joking. That's actually true.
They will tell you, oh, no, you should do it this way. Oh, how do we do it? Figure it out.
We once had 2 pages that we had to completely paint,
Oh, we did a full watercolor, I mean, it's beautiful.
And it took us a month. Because
And
when I stand back from
the jackal, when I stand back from the computer, it kind of doesn't look, I can't see it. We're like, who stands back from the computer? It's right there.
and this guy no longer works in the industry. Because, yeah,
Well, he was,
well, he's a freak.
that was one of those stories that, no, actually,
You don't bite someone, another
Oh,
man.
oh,
yeah.
all right.
Oh, yeah.
That editors, I remember Frank Miller and Will Eisner did a book together that Charlie, the guy who's at the comic book legal defense fund,
Oh, yeah.
he wrote a book, he interviewed them, and they said, you know, if you really want to get into the industry, become an editor.
Yeah.
You know, work your way up to being
Wally
an editor.
Wood said that.
Oh, Wally Wood, yeah, Wally Wood.
Wally Wood said, yeah, if you want to make a name in the industry.
But
Because-
outside of that, editors are okay. Yeah, you just work with
Now,
them.
you need a good art director. Because our publishers are editors, and our art directors are editors. And we have a good family at this company. We got lucky. Because you have to be very careful on all of this. Because also, when you're criticized on anything, put it in your head and think and look back at your work and think, okay, is he right or is she right? And do I have to go back and maybe rethink what my work is? So,
Yeah, there are those times when you gotta like, set something aside, and if like an editor or anyone is like very critical of your work, set it aside, move forward, and like, give it some time, some space, and go back.
and then go back
decide,
and look at it and see,
oh, maybe they were right, and then look where you come
Or-
from there.
or just say, F you.
But we don't
This is
recommend that.
awesome.
For me, I'll talk about myself, it's just a little bit more practical. It's been my experience that an editor typically wouldn't even look at my work because they're looking at everybody else's stuff who are already with their company. From my point of view, from Orlando's point of view, what I would tell you to do is to have somebody look at your work who does not care about telling you the truth.
Right.
For me, that's my wife. All the stories I write, everything I do,
Jesus
I
Christ,
bounce
Michelle
off of
is a
her.
monster.
Yeah, Michelle, my wife was just no joke, and so I bounce it off of her first to see what her impression is. If she's pleased, I know I'm good, but she won't hesitate in a minute to say, what were you thinking about with this? This doesn't make any sense, or you got too wordy here, because those are the critiques you're gonna really need. You know, when I first started writing, I thought I was a good writer, I really did, I thought I was good, you know, self-published book. And now that I look back 10 years ago, I've grown so much, my writing style has changed. And there's always gonna be growth, as you know, even in our 40s and 50s, we're growing, and we 70, 80 are gonna grow. But you're gonna need somebody who's gonna look at it from a perspective as they just don't care about what you think, because you need to hear the truth. And if some writing is not very good, needs some work, they need to be able to tell you that without hurting your feelings. Because if you're gonna get your feelings hurt and you're gonna take it and the behind and be mad, I mean, that's just gonna be part of it. That's part of the business. So friends, people who will respect you enough to tell you the truth, I think is the best thing you can have. You don't have to pay them. Just say, hey, read this. You know, when I do it, my wife and I be laying in the bed. I was like, this is what I wrote today. So I'll read 3 or 4 pages. And she's like, yes, I'm digging it. I can envision it. I can picture it. She goes, nah, this part wasn't clear. This is kind of fuzzy right here. You need to define that a little bit more. I'm like, oh, okay. And sometimes if I disagree, I said, nope, I'm not doing it. I like it the way it is. And she'll be like, okay, you asked me, I'm telling you. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah.
Why are you looking for an editor?
No, it's more, less like a professional editor and more how to go to people like these wives and stuff for feedback and for growing and for making sure you're
You
telling
want-
the story you want
Yep.
to tell in the best way possible.
Got it. Personally, I've never had an editor, so my stuff probably sucks. I don't know. Seems good to me. Yeah, no, most of the stuff that I wrote a graphic novel. It's my first graphic novel that I wrote, and I'm a visual guy, so it was a very visually flowing story, and I'm also a part-timer, so it might be fractured, but it seemed like it flowed pretty well, and when I submitted it, I didn't get many comments, so I guess it must have worked. But, yeah, I haven't suffered the wrath of evil editor before. That's scary.
Oh, yeah.
Soul-crushing, heart-stealing. Wow, dude.
One of the other things I would recommend, if you have a completed work, it's completed. There are plenty of websites, plenty of places out there that review books. They will review your book. They're like, send it to us, we'll review that sucker. And there was some guys on Rotten Tomatoes. One time, when I first self-published my first book, Pariah, and I got really good reviews on it, and I was really happy that one review, oh my goodness, he just tore me apart. Like, it doesn't make sense. No, I'm just not into it. I don't dig it. I'm just like, damn, every now and then I go back to that review and look at it. But that's what I needed to hear. And that's on some things back then, 10 years ago, I kind of understood what he was saying. It was 80% there, but that 20% lost him. And, these guys, review some of the biggest names out there, from Frank Miller to, Todd McFarlane, and then whomever, Alan Moore, who's writing their book. So sometimes they're used to a certain style, what have you, or used to a certain format or what have you. So when you have a book that's a little bit different or something like that, sometimes they'll react a certain kind of way. With my book, the subject matter I was dealing with, he said he just was not feeling it. But the other reviewers, they say good things about it. And I think they were all trying to be fair, whether it's a critique or praise. They're all trying to, really be fair.
And it's all about, like with Shawnee, that it's just telling the story that we want to tell. Because we were going to do floppies again, but it's like, we just have to tell graphic novels. So that's why a lot of people come up to us and go, is this all just one book? And it's like, yeah, full story then. Okay, take my money. So that's why we're outlaws. We steal people's money for a living.
But to piggyback on these guys, that yeah, you gotta be your own biggest cheerleader. Love your work, but
you
also your biggest critic. You have to look at it. That's why I was saying about setting it aside, walking away, and checking it out. I mean, we'll see stuff that we did, 20 years ago.
And we go, we're still
Wow, we were amazing back then. Why aren't we?
Yeah, why aren't we great?
No, you always got to be, and always be like paying attention, seeing, reading, watching every movie, every bit of music, even stuff you don't like. You can learn something from.
Well, also, what's really good is when you're creating something, is having a soundtrack in your head. And like,
Yeah, me and Maddie.
every book
When
has
we're
a
working,
complete soundtrack.
we had read the George Lucas. He when he was writing Star Wars, he had done American Graffiti, so he was successful. He had a jukebox, but he wouldn't let himself listen to any music until he wrote a certain amount of pages, right? And me and Matt thought, oh, that's how we have to do it. So we're like, you know what? Screw it. Yeah, it doesn't work for us.
That's
We
that.
got to have music. We got to have things going on, like it just.
So again, we go out
injects.
on barbecue every night and listen to music. That's where we create everything.
So when you're talking about editors, I would honestly say be your own editor, and then don't worry about what they say, because you're gonna figure it out. Get like Maggie said, what's in your heart. Get that on the page. Make it happen.
Make it work. And also, just try not to suck.
That's right.
That was from Allison Cross. Allison Cross.
Well, another question right here.
Right next to that.
It would be a weird question, but how do I make my main character more interesting? Because I was writing my own like first couple of chapters of like my own comic, and I was designing the character while I was doing it. And I sent it to my brother who likes to like do harsh critiques, and he just told me your character is boring. And I looked at him and I was like, yeah, all my side characters are so more interesting. And the main character, he moves the story along, but he just isn't that appealing.
I know that, I see a lot of like, what was it? There's a show on, Aquafina is the star of her own show. And I found that her cast is extremely interesting. She's okay. I don't really know her that well, but I discovered her, but the support cast was amazing. And it's the same with like heroes and villains. Sometimes the villains are the best part. And but I think with character development, there's the two important things are the hero. You want them to be relatable. They need to have a little bit of vulnerability. They have to have a reason why they're there. So if you figure all that stuff out, sort of like make a Bible for that character, for your hero. Like what is their agenda? How why is this villain messing with them, right? What's the deal? What is his vulnerability? What is his weakness? And what is his strength? You figure all those things out in your little Bible for this character, and then as you weave the story, that becomes like reference things that you take out and import into the story. And it's the same with the villain, but instead of, villains too are very important to have those same attributes, like what is their weakness, what is their motivation, all those things. So you really want to figure out every character and what's their deal, what makes them tick. What dropped on their head as a baby, what's the story, You could go that deep into it, and you probably should when it comes to character development.
Or make your character an a-hole.
The hero.
If you guys come to the booth, we'll show you Napalm Jack.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Where
He's the hero.
he's the hero, but he's an a-hole.
I was going to say, if you're, coming from a drawing standpoint, just give the character a scar or long hair, or
Eye patch.
or peg leg, or
Hemorrhoids.
Here's that hero.
To make every character stand out.
no. Honestly, the story. That's really what I think it was Raymond Chandler, another detective novelist. He said that my characters, the story is just something for my characters to do. I want my characters to
That's
so
why
it
it's just,
I think
it's about the story.
well, we were talking about this yesterday, that you got to love your characters, even the bad guys. Elmore Leonard said once that, because he does villains so good, he said, I figure they had a mother that loved them at one point, so they've got some redeemable quality, something that makes them stand out. So yeah, make them that one little thing that you go, oh.
Yeah, because you have to love the villains. It's the same way as the heroes.
What do you think, Orlando?
I was just going to say, we all have a process that we work in, which way we do it. I typically start with the main character first. That's what I would typically do. And I would try to put my main character in a compelling situation. What's unique about this main character? Even if it's just, a character, he's sitting there. So what's up with this character? Okay, he's sitting there. He's missing his leg. His leg is gone. Okay, missing his leg. He's now on the ground. He's bleeding, and he's crawling into the emergency room. I start with something like that, and then I start to build a story around that. But that's 5 minutes. That's the hook. You got to figure out what's going to be what. Now, one thing I would tell you, even though you may say somebody told you your character is boring, and maybe your character is boring. get some feedback from some other people, because what's boring to some may not be boring to others. But if you really believe your character is boring, build something around your character that makes them a little bit more interesting. There are things that go on in everyday life that you can do. Your character's walking, he's in Las Vegas, next thing you know, he's at the Republican convention, and Donald Trump runs into him. I mean, you can do something like that to make make it a little bit, the story more compelling to make it unique for your character. All kinds of things that you just see in life that goes on, and that be like, never heard of this before. And that's actually where I go from. What would be cool that nobody's ever heard of before, nobody's ever done before, and I'll go for that. That's what I'll go for. Particularly if it's something they've never heard of, boom, I know that's a good place to start.
What's the best way, to kind of introduce main characters' backstory or something? Because when they're in a situation, they don't really get to see the backstory. They get to see the kind of story. But what's the best way to introduce their backstory within the story?
Me too. Yeah.
You blend it slowly, because any story is, you gotta remember, you know the whole story, but the reader is on a journey, and you're helping them, you're escorting them through this journey of discovery, and if the story, if everything's revealed at the beginning, then there's no adventure in that, there's no discovery. So you tease it in, it's like a puzzle, this story becomes a puzzle, unless it's really majorly important that information be up front. I like teasing it in.
I agree. What do they call it for that? In movies, they give little
Flashbacks?
Yeah, flashbacks, no, but it's Easter eggs. They give little Easter eggs in movies and little hint, just like giving my character. And Dan, I think is right on the money. You don't want to give the whole backstory of what's going on. Even my character, Red Riding Hood, she has a book that mysteriously gets sent to her in the mail. She reads the book like, okay, I guess it's a diary. And she wonders, why does somebody send me this diary? She turns out to read a little bit more. And she says the diary is really old. It's going back to the year 1300. She finds out it's her ancestors' diary. Little Red Riding Hood's diary, it magically appears to her. And that gives a little bit more of the story, but again, throughout the storytelling, you want to just give little tidbits and stuff like that. You want to keep them feeling like, hey, I wonder what this was about. And I think things need to be deliberate. I put things in the story that are deliberate and oftentimes misleading. So they may believe that the character is going to go this way because I gave a little tidbit, but then I totally change it in a different space. So that's one of the things. Telling stories, one of the things for me is I hate telling stories that I can already figure out. I know exactly what's going to happen. I can tell on page 4, oh, I already know how it's going to end. You want to give misdirection in there. You don't want to give everything so they know how it's going to end, because then there's no fun. There's no intrigue with that. Like, oh, hell, I'm on page 4. I already know how page 22 is going to end. And she's going to get shot and go to the electric chair. You just want to give little tidbits to that. And throughout this process, that's when you tell the backstory. That's when you get a little bit more, and it's like fitting a puzzle together. But you don't do the puzzle all at one time. You do a piece here, a piece here, a piece here, a piece here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I think that's the hardest thing for constructing a story is being outside of it, because you already know where it's going, you know everything about this, but it's hard to be the reader and think of their point of view. So that's why it's good to get friends to not so much edit, but to look at it with fresh eyes. So the more fresh eyes you get, especially if you find someone that loves to give you deepest thoughts about it, that's a valuable friend to have. It's like, what did you get from this? And they tell you this big deep meaning. Wow, that's not what I was thinking, but I love it.
Well, actually,
We have 1 minute.
okay, we'll just finish. There is a million ways to tell a story. You can start with the character's backstory at the very opening, or you can reveal it at the ending, or piece it together during, as they were saying.
Well, we always think,
When you
leave a little
enter the
bit,
story
leave a little bit for the audience, the reader,
to kind of piece together.
so they can be a part of it.
Every book we go into different. We always go in sideways to make it different from the last one. Always. And that's why we go run the gamut from all ages books to very violent videos. But so, follow what you think.
Yeah, follow your heart. If you feel that
That's the biggest thing to do.
the way you're going is the right way,
That's
just keep
it.
going. Just keep going. And just, again, just, when you get done with that story, set it aside, get on to the next story, and the next story, and the next story, and then look back and go, oh, I see where I was, and now I see where I am.
Because you always get better.
Yeah.
Because you don't get better, like, after an amount of time, then it's like, okay, this isn't for me.
You gotta figure something else out. That's what we always figured, it was like, you
Why are
know,
we rich yet?
So yeah, we're at booth 706, if you got any.
706.
Come hang out.
All right, thank you all very much.